Peaky Blinders' last episode aired almost 6 months ago, and many fans are now looking forward to the upcoming feature film that will continue the story of the Shelby family. Recently, Stephen Knight gave an update on how the movie spin-off about the Shelby clan is coming along, and in this video, I will bring to you the gist in detail. Make sure you stick with me to the end. Without any further delay, let's get into it. World War II adaptation of Peaky Blinders movies is nearly done. If you're a Peaky Blinders fan, there's good news for you. Though no date has been set for when the upcoming feature movie of Peaky Blinders that will continue the story of the Shelby family might come out. The good news is that the series boss, Stephen Knight, gave RadioTimes.com an exclusive interview to promote the upcoming series of the show, Peaky Blinders, The Redemption of Thomas Shelby. In that interview, he talked about how the movie is coming along. When asked if the script was done, in his words, he said, almost. It's almost there. So you know, we have the shooting schedule and the dates for when we start, so that's all going to happen. Knight said that the movie will take place during the Second World War and will focus on a number of real-life stories that have never been told before. He will include the Peaky Blinders in these stories. He said that it's the same rules as writing the TV show, but he has always tried to make Peaky the same but different, so each new series has a different reason for being made. He added that he has been thinking about a story about the Peakys during the Second World War for a long time, and that he found 3 true stories that he'll be using in the movie. True, kind of unknown, and secret stories about the Second World War, and Knight confirming that he has included them in the Peakys. He also said that he is always interested, because there was so much going on and so much death and destruction during the Second World War that a lot of things happened that really didn't make it into the history books. So, Knight is concentrating on these things. In other news, let's talk about House of the Dragon. Why do Rhaenyra and Alicent change their faces? From the second episode of House of the Dragon, time jumps were necessary in the plot to tighten the times and lay the main foundations of what, in the books of George R.R. Martin, is known as the Dance of the Dragons. This is the civil battle unleashed within the Targaryen family to establish their next heir to the Iron Throne. For this reason, in the 6th episode of House of the Dragon, one of the longest jumps took place among all those shown in the first season of the series, because the plot was postponed for 10 years, a period of time during which, as well as the inevitable developments in the story as well, there have also been reinterpretations within the cast for narrative purposes. Millie Alcock and Emily Carey, the actresses who, until the 5th episode, played Rhaenyra and Alicent respectfully, were replaced by Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook from the 6th episode. In reality, this is not the only redesign carried out in the second part of the season, since the actors who played Laena and Laenor Velaryon have also given way to other colleagues. But at the same time, there are other characters who have instead kept the same actors, although in the story, the time has passed for everyone. Therefore, it's almost absurd to see them alongside Rhaenyra and Alicent in the adult version, while they seem to have made a pact with the devil. So, why didn't they just decide to age all the actors in question with stage makeup? The answer to this question comes from showrunner Ryan Condal during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. He said, "I'm happy with how we set up the narrative for the first season. It's a very complex question because it takes place over a long period of time where the first children grow up, marry, have children, and the children themselves grow up and are part of the unleashed generational war." Condal explained that the 10-year-old isn't the final time jump that will be shown in the show's first season. Indeed, the current children of Alicent and Rhaenyra are among the main protagonists involved in the War of the Throne of Swords, and therefore they must be made to grow up quickly to reach the central point of the story. And clearly, the older the children, the older the mothers. Although Millie Alcock and Emily Carey have done a great job so far, according to Condal and the rest of the House of Dragon team, for the sake of consistency, they can't play the roles of overly mature women. Also, because Millie Alcock and Emily Carey are in their early 20s, while new entries Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook are already in their 30s, it therefore seems more appropriate for 2 adult daughters to continue the work of their previous colleagues in order to represent the transition from adulthood to adulthood as realistically as possible. Next up, do you know about the deleted scene of House of the Dragon with a new Daemon? In the House of the Dragon TV series, one of the most beloved characters by the public is Daemon Targaryen, the rebellious prince of King's Landing, portrayed on screen through the masterful interpretation of Matt Smith. His cheeky, cynical, and unpredictable way of doing things has inevitably marked the minds of fans of the series, who see in Daemon the intriguing and dark classic between dubious actions and charm to spare. Precisely for this reason, when it comes to the young Targaryen, nothing escapes the eyes of the most scrupulous fandom, and if things do not turn out a certain way, the revolt of the web is unleashed. As reported by Comic Book, during the 6th episode of House of the Dragon, a scene featuring Daemon was cut, thus omitting hiding a more sentimental side of the on-screen character, which was revealed over the course of the episode. What description is there for the deleted scene from episode 6? In the 6th episode of House of the Dragon, it is revealed that during the 10-year time jump, Daemon married Laena Velaryon, with whom he had 2 daughters. The woman is expecting her 3rd child, but the pregnancy presents complications, and Laena, during labor, finds herself in the same condition as Queen Aemma, the first wife of Viserys, shortly before her death. Ironically, Daemon also finds himself at the crossroads that years before had been his brother's turn, having to choose between the life of his wife and that of his future son. But before the man could make a decision, Laena made her own choice. Daemon found her when it was too late, only seconds before the dragon Vhagar, at the woman's request, ended her suffering with his blaze. In the cutscene, we see Daemon who, after being alone with his daughters, informs them of their mother's death, and later all 3 held each other in a strong embrace to console themselves for their loss. In the 6th episode of the series, instead, Daemon is about to go to his girls, but then he turns around and without saying a word, walks away, leaving the girls alone to cry. The choice of this cut, until this time, was not explained by the production, but in any case, it remains an unusual decision. Also, during the 6th episode of House of the Dragon, on at least 2 occasions, we can already see the more human and affectionate side of Daemon, compared to his usual indifferent character and distance from family warmth. In one scene, he sits in the library with one of his daughters, where he teaches her to speak Valyrian, while in another, he kisses and caresses Laena's belly while she is still expecting their baby. Small signs that suggest marriage to Laena and fatherhood either changed Daemon in a positive way, or at least brought out a softer side of him, proving that in the end, he might not be as bad as he seems. Wrapping it up, let's talk about why Kamala Khan is a fan of Captain Marvel. The creator of the Marvel comic character Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, Sana Amanat, revealed to Entertainment Weekly a detail about her superheroine, which many may have wondered, why Miss Marvel is so linked to Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. Amanat explained how fundamental to Kamala was the story that sees Captain Marvel punch the fearsome Thanos, the main antagonist of the Infinity Saga, in the face, and how it sparked the spark of admiration in Kamala. The story between Thanos and Captain Marvel, which takes the scene from the live-action movie Avengers Endgame, is also presented in the intro in the very first episode of the Miss Marvel series, through playful cartoons imagined by Kamala. Amanat also talked about how important it is for the growth of a girl like Kamala to find a figure to draw inspiration from. Indeed, the figure of Captain Marvel was essential to the development of her personality and her ambitions. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.